What's happening, YouTube? It's your boy Kite here, and I'm back with another ranking. Today, we're going to be ranking different types of powers in anime. Let me explain to you what I mean. Elemental powers, so like fire, ice, lightning, stuff like that. You know, teleportation is a type of power. Time powers, destruction powers, mind manipulation powers, things like that. We're gonna rate how good those powers are. All right. Let me know if you're interested. First of all, before I even show you what I have on there, before I even show it to you, what is your favorite type of power in anime? Every time you see a character with this power, it hits for you. You're like, yep, he's the one. Like, or she's the one. They're the one. It could be an animal. It doesn't matter. What's your favorite type and what's your least favorite type? What type of power you're like, stop, just get it out. I'm tired of seeing that. All right. So hit the like button for me. Please show some support. I'm trying to make it, bro. I don't know. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'm at like 6 something. So if you mess with me and you watch my videos all the time, you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, bro, as well. And like the video. So let's get into it, bro. You know, chill little video. Grab yourself something to eat. Oh, shoot. All right. Because I got myself something to eat. Let me fix my camera. So you see what I got going on here. Let's just change these categories up. All right. I'm going to do it in my vernacular. So let me see. No. That's how you spell that, right? Capitalize it. So the top category is going to be a guaranteed hit, right? That means, oh shoot, every time I see the power, it's hitting, bro. It's always tough. Now, let's go next. Almost always a hit. No, almost always hits. There we go, right there. So that means more than likely is going to be a hit. Next, solid, right? Oh shoot, I can't spell. Right, solid. It's a solid power. It does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't leave anything to be desired, and it doesn't leave anything that you want from it or improved upon it. Basically the same thing. Nothing to be desired from it. Okay, let's just keep this, what's it called? Symmetrical. Almost never hits, right? Oh, no. Let's do this. Right here, watch this. Needs improvement. Damn, I blacked. I'm sorry. Hey, chill out. I can't spell, bro. Improvement. Yeah. All right. Yeah, needs improvement, which means it's not bad. And then we're going to do this one as almost never hits, right? Because it's just get the power out of here, bro. Stop giving people these powers is basically kind of what I'm trying to say. So, all right, we got what we need to get. All right. What is we got going on? Excuse me, I'm hungry, bro. You should eat too. Okay. So you see the type of powers we got going on down here. I don't have all of them. So if you want to see a part 2 to this video, like the video. There's so many powers in anime, like I said. There's mind control. There's body swap. There's all types of powers that I could put on here and rank and see, like, do they hit or do they don't hit? All right? So if you're messing with this, let me know. Okay, let's start it off, bro. You know my rankings. I like to get a good bones, good structure for it and get one in every category. So I'm going to try to do that. All right. I'm going to start off crazy, right? I got to start off hot. Listen to me. Clones. They almost never hit, bro. I'm not going to lie. Listen to me. Cloning works with Naruto, but one character could not elevate the entire category. He's about the only person I know in anime where cloning is tough. Like, it is it. Like, we saw that and we're like, shadow clone jutsu, I'm gonna make clones, 1,000 clones. But anytime else, I don't know any other main anime. Think of One Piece, think of Bleach, think of all the big anime, Attack on Titan, My Hero. They just don't hit like Naruto's. And so he's an anomaly. Every time we see clones, I just feel like they don't hit. And it's a problem. They could be improved. Even if you did improve them, there's only so much you can do with clones. So I just don't think that clone would even be on needs improvement because there's no way to really improve it. It's like a truly tertiary ability, or like even quaternary. It is just like the lowest of the low of abilities. And it's not bad. It's just there's only so much you can do with it. So I'm gonna put it as it almost never hits. Naruto's an exception, obviously. And if you want to say Jinbu Baigawara from My Hero twice, I don't know, but it's not hidden for me. Okay, check this out though. Mob. I mean, he's the cover, but psychic powers, espers, telekinesis, if you would. Needs improvement, bro. We see it, but there's just better ways to execute it. I feel like if you get more detailed with psychic powers, they could hit. Like anytime you saw a character with psychic powers, you could be like, that's it. That's the one. Like you have Mob, and the whole series is based around psychics, but then One Punch Man, Terrible Tornado, Tatsumaki and her sister Fubuki, Hellish Blizzard. That's all right, bro, but it's not hitting because it's like, oh, I can move stuff in my mind, but like, what's the limit? Is there intricacies? I wish there was like a little bit more rules to it. I think that you can improve psychic powers throughout anime. It just hasn't been done. So we need to figure out a way to do that. All right, so yeah, I'm cool with psychic powers right there. Check this out, bro. Listen, bro. Swordsman, I love swordsman, and I know you do too. Don't lie to me. But it's not a guaranteed hit, bro. It almost always hits. But it's 50-50 split on whether a swordsman is going to be that guy. Listen, you have Kenshi Himura, who's depicted there on the cover. You have Mugen and Jin from Samurai Champloo. Even Sasuke. Mifune from Soul Eater. You could throw Black Star in there as well. He uses a katana sometimes too, or a sword. But then you have the big names, and these big names are what bring the category down and put it almost always hit, because they're like the biggest like display for it, and they fail to meet it. You're not gonna like this, but it's One Piece and it's Bleach. One Piece, like you have Zoro, super popular swordsman, and the whole debacle going on with who's the best swordsman and does this make them stronger because he uses a sword. Well, there's only really an argument because they don't really display swordsmanship in One Piece. One Piece is not a traditional like swordsman anime. They just power up their swords and they jump at you and then slash. There's no good choreography within the series itself. Same with Bleach. It's a whole anime that should display, it should have 5 of the 10 spots in terms of best swords fights in anime, but it's not even on the top 10 at all. It might not even be in the top 20. That might be gassing it, but it's definitely not in the top 15 sword fights in all of anime, which is crazy because it's a big 3 anime and it's all about swords and the swordsmanship, the choreography, it just doesn't hit, bro. And so those big names bring it down, in my opinion, and that's tough. Naruto, they do their part with the swordsmanship. They're known for the best choreography at the big 3. They've been putting on like 2020 fights since 2010 and before. Like their fights are about that, and the swordsmanship is no different. So yeah, swordsmanship takes a bit of a hit there, in my opinion. All right, let's see. This is a hot take too. I'm putting all my hot takes at the beginning because it's like I want to get them out of the way, but at the same time, I truly believe these things. Solid. Listen, lightning powers have some of the biggest upsides in all of anime. They're some of the coolest and flashiest abilities. But I think something like Killua's Godspeed is at the very top because of the details and intricacies that go into the power and all you can do with it. But like other lightning powers just leave so much room for improvement. But what else could you do to elevate lightning powers? You have Eneru. Pretty cool power, didn't do much with it. Like it looks cool, but it's the power itself didn't really do much. Same with, I guess, Sinbad. He uses lightning from Magi. I wasn't really impressed with that. Who else is a lightning user? You could say Zenitsu. Hisashi Buridama. Like, that's not really lightning, but they display it, so you can count that. Kashimo. Piss poor use of lightning. So I just think that lightning is cool, but it's solid. It's right where it needs to be. A lightning user is not going to be the guy at the top. Like, it doesn't always hit, but it's like, I hope it does, but it never really hits. In my opinion, I think it's cool, but it leaves much to be desired, but not so much that it needs to go down with like psychic powers. It's obviously better than that. All right, next is, we already got swordsman out of the way. Check this out, bro. Transformations, I gotta put them above swordsman. You see what I have on there. I have Super Saiyan, like that's a transformation. I have a transformation of Himiko Toga taking blood and transforming. I have Aaron that bites and hurts himself to transform. And then I have someone who ate a fruit to get a transformation. That is tough. Like, that is so creative. These transformations in anime always hit. Guaranteed. But they're not always guaranteed, because you do have, low key, transformations might always be a hit. Like, when you see someone that transforms, I'm trying to think, are they really that tough? Some of them are lackluster. Like, you'll have Naruto and Kisame transform into like a half shark. That's not really impressive. That's not that cool. That's just like one example. But I'm gonna put transformations for like here right now, the top A. They might hit guaranteed, but for the most part, they almost always hit, and that's why they might be in guaranteed. But we'll see. Okay, gravity powers. I'm gonna put this, hear me out, on solid. I'll explain to you why. I think the way to improve from solid to almost always hits, it's almost always a hit, is you need to be a little bit more creative with the power itself. And it's a tough case for gravity powers, because when you try to elevate them, they tend to like change into something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it tends to morph into a different power entirely. And so I think solid is where it needs to be, but they don't really, it's not like they suck, but there's definitely, you could improve them, but not at the same time, because when you try to improve them, they change into other things. Like Pain's power, that's like trying to improve gravity, but it like turns into like a wind power, like almighty push and pull. But then you have Chibaku Tensei, which is like definitely gravity. So I think gravity's solid here. I don't really know any gravity users that really jump off the screen to me. Now, let's move on. I think teleportation is also solid, because these are the ones that you can't really do much with them. Teleportation is what it is. Maybe you could take it up a notch, but for the most part, teleportation is what it is. It's not really a flashy power. It's pretty cool, but it's a secondary ability. It's not, no one's gonna fight with teleportation. I mean, Minato does, but like, one person can't jump a category up. It has to be the power in and of itself. And I just don't think teleportation, it doesn't need improvement, but also it is right where it needs to be. Teleportation is teleportation. Could you, a creative enough mind, if they got their hands on it, could they take it up? Of course. But it would have to be the community, the media form as a whole. And I just don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So I'm going to leave teleportation right there. All right, I think this is probably the best one. This is the easiest one, because like I've said before in my videos, copy powers are never the top of the verse, but they are always solid. Kakashi, Yuta, Raya from Black Clover, who copies? Monoma from My Hero. Anybody you can think of that copies powers, they're solid, bro. It almost, they're when they step on the screen, you're like, okay, I don't think I need to explain copy powers that much. All right, let's see. Hey, man, I think this is our first guaranteed hit. Anybody that's hand-to-hand in a verse full of power users, that person that decides to use their hands and not the powers, they are tough. So I have Rock Lee, I have Sanji. I know Sanji has a power, but for the most part, he just uses kicks, bro. And he adds fire to them. But for the most of the series, he was just hitting people with regular kicks and knocking them out. Toji, he uses weapons, but he's still just hand-to-hand. He has to use those weapons to have a chance against these power people. And then Baki's self-explanatory. You could also throw Morgiana from Magi in there, the Faunalise, the red-haired girl. They fight hard. If you see someone with their hands, they're fighting hard. Guaranteed. It's always a hit. No doubt. Okay. Moving on from hand-to-hand. What's next? I think time powers. Listen, I want to put this on solid, but I think it needs improvement. And it's not because it's worse than these. it's because it can be better than these, but I just don't think it's executed well. I'm not talking about the people that can see into the future, because that's not a time power. You're just glancing at that. Time power to be either manipulating time by putting it forward, pausing it, or going back in time. So yeah, I don't think I've seen enough of that in anime and been like, oh, like that dude that has the time powers, he's tough. Like, no, I don't feel like I've seen that in any of the anime I've seen. It's just time powers aren't really that creative, and I think there's a potential for them to get really creative if someone puts their mind to it. So I'm not saying it's worse than these, but it can be better and it needs improvement. And it can at least get to this level, maybe the top of it, in my opinion. So let's check this out, man. Healing. Now, this is a hard one because healing is healing. It's not flashy. You don't see characters and they're healers and you're like, oh yeah, like that's cool, that's tough. No, and it's not their fault because the power in and of itself isn't that good. But I think, I'm just gonna say it's solid, just because it doesn't need improvement. There's nothing you can really do with it. Then you see the cover here depicted. This is the wrong way to use healing magic, and that's genius. That's ingenious. They put a different spin on that, and a lot of it's hard to do that. So I just think healing is good. It's solid. It's where it needs to be. It's not flashy, but it doesn't need improvement. And it's not like it doesn't hit. It's just not supposed to hit because it's a secondary, like tertiary power. It's just not that. But like the difference between cloning is that it could be tough and it's not, because people don't do that much with it. All right, let's move on. Let's try shadow powers, bro. I want to say this is solid, but listen, because you can't just go based off Jin Woo. You got to think of other shadow power users. Let's think. The Kage no Mi. We know it could be used better, but in One Piece, Gecko Moria is not a staple. His power is not really that impressive. Shikamaru, that's pretty tough. Shikadai as well. All right, Megami, the 10 Shadows, that could be decent. Noct from Black Clover, that's pretty tough. Dark Shadow, I don't know. Would that count as shadow? Yeah, it says Dark Shadow. Yeah, I think shadows, it can go on almost always hits, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't really want to do too much talking on shadows. Like, it could be better, but like for the most part, it's good right there. All right, darkness. Listen, bro, I love dark powers. This is probably my favorite type of power. Maybe. What's your favorite type of power? If I didn't already ask that, what would be your favorite? Darkness would be my favorite. Maybe darkness and destruction. But I just don't think darkness is executed well in anime, and it could be so much more than it is. Think of your darkness power users. Yami. Well, that's all right. That's pretty solid, right? If it was just Yami, I'd put it on solid. But it's not, because you have people like Teach from One Piece, and his darkness powers just really aren't that cool, bro. It's not cool. And then all the other darkness abilities, you kind of like liken darkness to shadow, dark shadow. The guy on the cover, this is the dude from My Hero that can fall into shadows and travel. That's pretty innovative, pretty cool. But I think darkness, for it being such a staple power and the counter to light, it needs improvement. It needs a lot more improvement. We need a main guy whose power is darkness, and he needs to be a staple in all of anime, and we don't have that. And so that's why I need it on needs improvement. Let's just follow up with its counterpart, light powers. Solid. It doesn't really do much. Like, you have Kizaru, you have Licht, all the light users in Black Clover. Who else uses light? There's actually not that many people that use light. They're all in like isekai stuff. So like light, it's all right, bruh. You can't do too much with it. It's kind of like, I can make stuff out of light. I can turn into light. Like, it's all right, bro. I like light powers, but I think darkness has more potential. But light is depicted better than darkness. It's just, we all know darkness is better, so we think it's better than light. Not better as in like stronger, but like it could be cooler, but it's not cooler, unfortunately. We just know that it could be. All right, moving on. Plant powers. I think plant people just, yeah, I think they're just better. Now, I think shadows have the potential to be better than plant power users, but plant users are better. You have Green Bull, you have Hashirama, Hanami, Like who else? Kurama, Yoko Kurama from Yu Hakusho. Those plant users, when they come on the screen, they're actually cool. And most of them are cool. I can't really think of a plant user that I've seen and been like, his powers just aren't cool. Like, no, they're often really cool. And so yeah, I like that. I think plant powers almost always hit. But they could low key, if it was just Hashirama, they'd be up here. Low key. All right, let's just keep the elemental stuff going. Wind power, solid. I don't think you can really improve upon it. It is what it is, bro. You make tornadoes, you can fly, you can do wind slices. No wind power user is ever going to be like that guy. There are exceptions. You have Yuno and Black Clover. But like other than that, you want to count Pain as a wind user, but like I said, that was more gravity. And that's exactly what I meant by when you try to get sexy with gravity powers, it automatically turns into something else. Almighty Push is definitely more of a wind power, especially when you saw how it was used on the entire village. It looked like someone was blowing a blast of wind straight down and it just blew everything out away. So like, tough right there. Ice powers. Listen, that's A tier. I think that's an easy, like almost always hits. No? It's better, bro. It might be better than Shadow. I think Ice users tend to have more aura than Shadow users. But the thing is, and I don't mean aura how y'all use aura, bro. Not that fucking weak ass aura farming. Like, no. I mean actual, like, presence. The Ice users, Aokiji, Esdeath, Grey Full Buster, Shoto, you know, I think they tend to like have more impact. The Shadow users just like, yes, we know they should be tough, but they're not most of the time. It's like, damn, bro, like you have Shadow power. Show up. The dude from Eminence in Shadow. That's an all right anime. It could be more than what it was. I just don't think people are doing Shadow powers right. Jinwoo's the face of Shadow powers. Like, come on, bro. That anime has no substance. It's just like he kills people and turns them into shadows. Bro. That should not be the peak of what shadow manipulation is, bruh. Shadows should be way tougher than that, but they're not. So I think Ice is better than Shadow. I'm not gonna lie. Freezing the whole ocean in like for 7 days and like as far as you can see in an instant. Come on, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Jinwoo has done nothing even close to what Aokiji did in his interest, but well, that's just my opinion. Obviously subjective, but that's how I feel about it. Listen to me, bro. Fire powers, guaranteed hit. There's so many fire users, but listen, when you have an entire anime about fire users, because look, before I even get to that, you have Natsu, who's on the cover, Yamamoto, Marileona, Endeavor, Shoto, Dabi. Who else uses fire? Let me see. Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon of the Darkness Flame. Itachi with the Amaterasu. Like, fire is such a plain ability, but they make it so creative in anime. And that brings me to the point of Fire Force. They took an anime with the basic elemental power of fire, and made it so amazing. Sho can heat up the area around him and like freeze Severed Universe and slow down time, like freeze time. That is genius, bro. All the Adola powers, all of that, everything in Fire Force, Benimaru, it is all so good, bro. Fire powers are so creative. They're so good. Every time you see a fire user, they're going to hit, bro. Guaranteed. They might even be above the hand-to-hand, but I just think these hand-to-hand, like these people on this screen right here, these 4 I have in here are just always going to be like staples. They're bigger than any fire user. So I got to put the hand-to-hand people up there. All right, moving on. Space powers. Solid, bro. I think it could use some improvement. But you do have Gojo, who's given the space power users a big boost. But like I said, one person can't bring it all the way up. Longus is a pretty good user, but most space powers are just like portals. And I think you can do more with that. I've seen a lot of like lower tier, just obscure anime where I've seen space powers used crazy. Like the 7th prince. I got reincarnated as the 7th prince. He has a teleportation called Shadow Wolf or something like that, and he can teleport things into one another. So like that'd be something that could beat Gojo. He can teleport it right onto you, like mix y'all's beings. And I'm like, there's some, you can do stuff with space power. You can make it cool. People just aren't. So it is solid, not quite always hitting though, in my opinion. Blood powers, they're solid, bro. There's not much you can do with it. You have things like Dead Man Wonderland, which is a whole thing about blood. You have the blood with Demon Slayer, the fire blood demon arts. You have obviously Choso. It's solid, bro, and it's pretty creative, but it's not always hitting like that. It's pretty good. KK Sensen or Blood Blockade Battlefront, they have some stuff. It's pretty good, but it's all right. It's solid, bro. They're decent. I'm cool with leading them right there. Puppets, man. Stands. Puppets in Naruto. Anything where you summon, you could say that Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon could be puppet. Maybe not Pokemon. They don't really summon them. They like store them in the ball. So I think more Yu-Gi-Oh! Like these might hit. These might be A, bro. Is summoning A? You could use summons in Naruto. I'm gonna put summoning at A. I think that's cool. I like this list, man. This is my list. Transformations, I'm still not sure if they're a guaranteed hit. I think they might be a guaranteed hit, bro. I think transformation, they're just more often than not, transformations hit. More often than not. So much so that everyone's tried to copy it and maybe they don't have it to the effect, but you can see where they tried to go with it. So I think transformations are a guaranteed hit. You have Eren, you have Kaido, you have Himiko Toga, you have Super Saiyan. Like, the transformation route has been copied so much. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, like they all copy the transformations. The big three copied that and everyone copied them. So like transformations have to be a guaranteed hit. Honestly, they might even be up there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know why I had them in almost always hit. I think it's because so many copied them and didn't do as well that it was like diluting it. But I can't say it dilutes it because anytime a top anime has a transformation, it hits every time and without fail. So I think transformation is fine there. This is my personal list. Which one would you have at the top of every single category? I like my transformations. I think swordsman is good right here. Lightning powers have the most potential, I think, out of all these. They're just not done well. Needs improvement. I think darkness definitely should be at the top of needs improvement. It would surpass both of these by far. And cloning, it almost never hits, bro. Naruto just made it way more popular than it is, and no one really was able to run with it for real. So yeah, this is my list. Let me know if I should make another one. There's so many powers in anime, to be honest. This is a pretty good list. Let me know your thoughts. Let me bring my face up here. Yeah, that's the video, guys. That's me ranking powers in anime. Let me know your thoughts. I'm interested. What's your favorite power in all of anime? I think mine has to be darkness or destruction. I have a lot of powers. Maybe I should make a video on like top 5 underrated powers you don't know about in anime. Maybe you haven't seen them. But yeah, leave a like, please. Comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Peace. 君の気持ちを大事にしなかった私の頭